Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to Mentor Monday. Mentor Monday is your weekly microdose of encouragement, inspiration, and miracle grow on your potential as a coach. Do us a huge favor. You know the drill. We are live, so tell us where you're joining us from, what you're excited about, what you feel life and momentum on for you. I was not sure if we were going to make it tonight. It is obviously we are in California, and it has been raining like crazy. And honestly, California's been in a drought for so long. It's kind of no one really knows what to do when they see rain. They're pretty shocked by it in general, but we have gotten unrelenting rain for, well, at least the better part of the last month. And I like when I say unrelenting, like it's already filled up our reservoir and a lot of other things. And now there's massive flooding, there's mudslides, and a little bit earlier today in the area around the studio, we had two transformers blow up and like super loud. And I had no idea if we were going to even have power. We were already working on a backup plan just in case. But you know what? PG&E, got to give them credit. They got our power back on somehow. And so did the guys with the internet. So got to give those guys props on doing all of that hard work out in the rain. Greatly appreciated. Hey, do me a huge favor. Let me know that you are here. Jump inside the comments. Tell us hello. When you say hello, when you like stuff, when you share it, that tells Facebook and YouTube that we are doing a good job. So hopefully everything is integrated like it's supposed to be tonight. We, again, with everything that went a little bit kablooey a little bit earlier, it was a little bit crazy because when we brought our systems back online, there were a lot of things that we had to try to flip switches on. So hopefully I'm able to actually see everybody's chat. So just let me know, throw it in the chat. And that way, if we see you on there, and then that tells us that everything is working as far as that's concerned. So if you've never been on one of our Q&As before, let me set your level of expectation. What we always try to do is we try to give you a little bit of a taste of what it is that we do, because we never want to be. And let me say hello to Cynthia. Hey, Cynthia, who's joining us from Baton Rouge, hoping to become a coach. I'm new. Awesome. Love Baton Rouge. If you didn't know, I am a Louisiana native. Louisiana's home. So all the Dabdoubs are there. My family is, except for me, we moved to California. So I actually did some of my studies at LSU, but I actually graduated down the road in Hammond at SLU. But I've had many cousins and everything else that graduated. One cousin that played football at LSU. We are hardcore Tiger fans over here. Let me say hello to a few more people. Juanita from the Bahamas. Very cool. Tanya's joining us from Montana. Beautiful. So good. So if you've never been on one of these live Q&As, and we don't do them super often, but we wanted to start the new year with a Q&A. And what we try to do during this time is to ask some of your biggest pressing questions. I know a lot of you are still aspiring coaches. You're thinking about becoming a coach, or maybe you're just getting started and you have some questions. Maybe you're having challenges with clients or in the learning. So anything that is on the learning side, anything coaching skill side, want to try to help you with that. Anything that's on the business side, because we're not a single dimensional school. We're really into helping our students actually build their practices. So anything on the business development side, we want to be able to help you with that as well. And it also gives you a taste of what it's like to be inside of our Jumpstart program. We do have a business development program that I'll talk about in a little bit. But honestly, what we try to do, we're not into just helping coaches get trained and certified. That's where most schools end. If it was like me, I spent thousands of dollars to get trained and certified. And then when I got to the door, they waved at me from the door and had my nice little certificate with no clue of how to get clients. I went and got an advanced certification after that. They gave me a little bit of marketing stuff that when I looked at it, it was all like stock images and everything else. And I'm like, this is not going to work. And so I had no money left. And so I basically went to the library and went to Barnes and Noble and started digging through resources to try to figure out, well, how do you actually build a coaching practice? So that was me. And what I ended up doing is after we launched Life Coach Training Institute, then we worked on our Jumpstart program, because I had a lot of coaches who were asking, well, what do you do first? How do you get started? How do I find clients? Branding, all of these different questions. So that's why we put that thing together. And we launched our Jumpstart program actually in 2016. So we've literally launched over the time in Life Coach Training Institute, thousands of coaches into starting their own coaching practices. We don't want to just give you coaching skills. What you'll notice as a coach is that what you learned in coach training school is about 10% coaching skills. It's 90% business. And so we want to see you thrive, not just be a proficient coach. We want to see you thrive in business. And we know that a lot of people don't know how to do that, what those first steps are. And so we give you those steps. So we take the guesswork out, but also we walk alongside you, because we're not just some internet school. We want to walk alongside you. We want a relationship with you, and we want to see you crush it. So let me say hello to a few more people on here. Shane, who's joining us. Hey, Shane. And there's Diane from South Carolina. So if you guys have questions, coaching skill questions or business questions, throw them in there. I know tonight is the college football playoff championship. And so we won't have a super long go at it tonight, because I'm gonna head out and watch Georgia probably beat TCU really bad. All right, so let me go to our first question. Let me see if I can actually throw this up really quick. Here was the question that was sent a little bit earlier. Let me see if I can read that with you guys. I'm just starting out as a coach. What should I do first to be successful? And so when people ask this question, and it's a great question, there's a lot of different things that are on the mind of coaches. And so what I'm going to assume in that question is that you've already gotten trained and certified as a coach. So that's the assumption that I'm going to have, because if you want to get started, obviously, I'm going to encourage you to get trained and certified as a coach, just because you want to have coaching proficiency. You want to be able to have the skills to be able to help people be successful. And so definitely we want to get that out of the way. But assuming that you have that out of the way, first place that I would start is, I would say you need to choose a niche. And there's a really big reason why. The reason why I tell coaches to always choose a niche is that you have so many coaches who just want to be generalist life coaches. And one of the things that I learned early on as a business person, because I had no idea who I wanted to work with or anything else. And I'm trying to, but I needed to get business cards out there. And I remember getting my business cards down, and it was just really generic. And then I went out there, and as I was going around, and I remember the first networking group that I went to, people were going around the room, and they usually do like a 1-minute pitch. And I'm nervous, and like everybody is, because you're sitting there thinking, what can I say to everybody to impress them and make them think that they should work with me? Well, I'm sitting around a bunch of business people, and I'm thinking, I don't even know who I'm supposed to be working with or who I want to work with or anything else. And meanwhile, it's going down the line and trying to get to me, and I had no idea what I was getting ready to say. But there was something that I noticed in the room, that people who actually had something very memorable to me actually knew who it was that they were helping and what problems that they were helping people solve. And everybody else was pretty forgettable. I remember one guy in particular, I could go in that room right now and I could show you where he was standing. And I remember he was standing there, and he said that he was an attorney. And he says, I do criminal, and I do divorce, and I do injury, really everything. And I'm sitting there like, you can't do everything and be good at it. What I was thinking is, this guy's like, oh, he's trying to find any case that he possibly can to work on, just because he might have and it's like, okay, he's such a generalist. Seems like he knows about a lot of different things, but he's not great at anything. So if somebody was in the room and they said, well, I am a personal injury attorney, that's all the work that I do. And if we're sitting in the room, who's going to get the work? Is it going to be the generalist person, or is it going to be the person who specialized in what the problem was? And see, I know a lot of coaches haven't really given it a whole lot of thought. And honestly, you should give it a whole lot of thought. For one, when you specify who it is that you help and what problems that you help people solve, you make it easier for people to open the door for your business. You make it easier for people to remember you. Especially if you were in, like, if you really were, if you did a 1-minute pitch, if somebody went on your website, they should know in about 3 seconds who it is that you help and what problems that you help people solve. In seconds, not minutes. They shouldn't have to scroll around. They shouldn't have to figure it out. And if you go to most coaches' websites, if you go to most coaches' social media, you have no clue of who it is that they help and what problems that they help people solve. Here's the other reason why you want to choose a niche. No one knows what coaching is. I see a lot of coaches who go through their training and certification, and then they build a coaching website that says whoever, Joe Schmo life coach. And then you know what they try to do? They proceed to try to explain to people what coaching is. Well, if you're trying to explain something to someone, how are you ever going to convince them that they need it? And then you know what coaches do? They say stuff like, well, it's not counseling. It's not therapy. Well, now you got somebody thinking about counseling and therapy. So why are you talking about that? And so they end up with a lot of generic kind of talk about live your best life and a bunch of other things. And the reality is that people don't connect with any of those things. They don't know what coaching is. They don't know how it's different, and they don't know by all of the jargon and everything what live your best life means or anything else. So we need to simplify it. See, the best brands that are out there in the world have simplified that game, and they've made something that's extraordinarily memorable. If I was able to look at this pack, if I was able to pull it out, probably I would pull out an Energizer battery out of this. Now, if I said Energizer battery, generally speaking, everybody knows what a battery is, but what is Energizer known for? It's known for solving a problem. Everybody remember the old bunny that would be beating on the drum and running around the entire commercial? Well, that stuck with a lot of people because whether Energizer is the best or not is not really relevant. What it's connected to is what? It's connected to a problem. So if you want longer battery life, whether it's true or not that Energizer is the best, we believe that it is because the branding has literally been pounded into our heads and we'll remember it forever. What's the longest lasting battery? Ask 10 people and probably 8 out of 10 would say Energizer. Not that they've ever proven it, just because they know that commercial. And so the branding has helped them remember what it's here for, what the problem is, what they stand for. It's very powerful. And so coaches, we don't have millions of dollars to try to do some advertising campaign or something like that. What do we want? We want it to be simple. We want people to come on our website in about 3 seconds, know who it is that we help, what problems that we help people solve. So we should be able to answer that question in seconds. Right now, if you already have your social media up, if you already have your website up, look at that. I can tell you if you have an effective website or an effective social media presence in 3 seconds. You should be able to tell as well. Is it clear who it is that you help and what problems that you help people solve? Because if you're all over the map, if you've got 3 pictures of you doing yoga poses and another one of you stacking rocks and another one of you quoting different philosophers, listen, you've already confused everyone. I'm not saying that you can't do any of those things. I'm just saying that people get confused really easily. Branding and messaging's got to be simple. People want to make associations with things, and here's what they want more than anything. They want you to solve a problem that they're already thinking about. That's what makes it really easy. So a niche, really, if I boiled it down to this, it is the people. And when I say people, well, what could it be? Could be women under 35. Could be married couples. It could be executives. It could be business people. It could be a lot of different people. It could be people who are trying to just go up the corporate ladder and they're just professionals in general. Could be artists. It could be writers. It could be singers. It could be moms. It could be dads. We had a coach that did single dad coaching, which was amazing. I'd never even heard of that before. And he was crushing it pretty much immediately when he came out of the gate. I'm just throwing out some ideas of what it could be. It could be a ton of different things, but we want it to be for a specific group of people. Now, when you choose that group of people, then there's probably going to be a problem that is associated, most common problem. And not only most common problem, but I would say the problem that hurts the most. And I'm not talking about trauma. I'm talking about the problem that is frustrating that they want to solve. They're already thinking about the problem. You're not having to say, who wants to live their best life now, which doesn't connect with anybody. You might say, instead of live your best life now, I'm thinking about one of our coaches who's a sales coach, and he knows what all of the pain points of salespeople are. So one of those pain points is closing more business, not getting no's. How can you close more business? How can you avoid rejection? Stop getting rejected, get a little bit better at this thing or whatever. So when you know what the pain point is, then you talk about the pain point. People don't care if it's coaching. They don't care if it's mentoring or anything else. They don't care what the vehicle is. They want to know that whatever you have is connected to a problem that they have and a problem that they want to solve. I've said this many times to our coaches. I'll say it again here. People don't try to sell sandwiches that nobody else is ordering. You want to not have to convince people that they need this thing. You want to talk about something that they want to solve. So it's people plus problems. This is how you create a niche, and that assumes something. It assumes that your coaching is providing a solution to what this problem is. That's what somebody should see on all your social media. That's what they should see on your website, all of those other things. So you choose a niche so that in 3 seconds, somebody comes on your website and you're like, oh, this is who this is for. Oh, it's for this, solving this particular problem. And you know what you end up doing is you end up simplifying it in the mind of a person. And the rest of your information is really talking about, well, what does your strategy look like? What are the steps? What are the benefits? What are the other things that you get added into the service or whatever that you're offering? That's how you bring somebody into a relationship with you, because when they come on there, they see, oh, this person gets me. They're talking my language. They're talking about my problem. Hey, if you talk about somebody's problem that they're already thinking about, they're all ears and they're ready to work with someone. In many cases, and I know some of you are probably like, well, where do I even start? And how do I actually discover a niche? And I still don't know who my who is. Let's talk just really quickly about how you kind of find your who. There's really about 5 ways. And I have an entire series that I did that you can find on our website and our YouTube that covers these things. And I would say, well, there's at least 5 simple ways to discover your niche. And what I would say is, and one of the things that I'll show in our coaches, and I was just talking about this in our coach training last week, is that a lot of times the people that you coach are people who, well, they were probably you 2 or 3 years ago. They were probably you 5 years ago, maybe 10 years ago. You've probably already slain the dragons that somebody hasn't faced yet, or you've overcome a giant that someone hasn't confronted yet. And so in many cases, a lot of times the people that we're working with, well, they were us 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 years ago or something like that. So what you end up finding, if I was going to tell somebody a starting place to begin to look, what I would say is that if you could put together really a timeline for yourself. When I say timeline, I'm just going to put to 60 just to put it there. But if you're going like 0 to 10, 25, 35, 45, 55, and beyond, really what you're going to be able to find throughout your life is that you're going to find these moments. You're going to find these moments of what I would say are flow. You're going to find moments of passion. You're going to find moments of excitement. You're going to find moments of energy. And what you're going to see in these moments is, what were you doing? Well, you were probably doing something where I would say that you were fully alive. You were thriving. And it had a lot to do with the role that you were playing. It had to do with the fact that you were using skills that you like to use. You were probably working with people that you liked. You were on a team that you liked, all of these different things. So what do all these things tell you when you look back? Well, what it tells you is an idea of what your purpose is on the planet. Each one of these moments are data points that probably point to the people and also the problem that you should help people solve. So that when you look back in time, look at the skills that you've acquired over all these years. Do you have any unique skills? Do you have anything that you've learned that you know a lot about? I'm thinking about a couple of our coaches, one who is a classically trained soprano, and she's a coach for people who are specifically in that group of people. like not just singers and not just musicians. We're talking about people who are really on the high end of the spectrum, true professionals. There's a lot of things that they understand about imposter syndrome and perfectionism and criticism and the pressures that are involved in there. So what ends up happening is that because she has put herself, she's lived all of these years, she's acquired skill, her own personal skills. She's trained a lot of people as a vocal coach and all of these other kinds of things. So what she's done is that she's looked at her skills and she's like, oh, I can draw from these skills and now I can become a coach in it. So you'll see people who are in writing, I remember we had one coach that was specifically an artist, and she saw that so many artists had a hard time doing two things, finishing projects and putting themselves out there and marketing what they do. And so really she grabbed onto that based on the skills as an artist that she brought to the table. Another thing that you can bring along with that is what we would say is experience. What experiences? Now, when I say experiences, this doesn't always mean professional experience. Could be a lot of things. Could be, I was a mom, I was a dad, I'm divorced. You might be a divorce coach. Something that's specifically out of something that's generally a negative, probably was very painful for you. You probably learned a lot of lessons. You might have been hopeless for a little bit. You might have had a major setback. You might have lost a lot in the middle of that. You might have had challenges because, you were sharing kids. There's a lot of different things that could have come out of that, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. But the reality is that experiences are not just simply are not simply like professional. We had one of our coaches who was coaching people, specifically working with individuals, family members primarily, who had family members who were diagnosed with dementia. So she's literally coaching people who are like, okay, now I've got this process. We just found out that my mom has dementia. What can I expect and how can I support and all of these other kinds of things? So in that area, saw a coach years ago who went through our program, and she said, I want to become a grief coach. She had struggled through a lot of different tragedies and difficulties in life and everything, but she had really learned a way of, because all of us are going to grieve, and grieving, there's nothing wrong with it, but can you get stuck in grief? And it was really around bringing people through the stages of grief and helping people grieve in a real holistic kind of way. So experience can happen in a lot of different things. One of our coaches right now is coaching blended families. She's got a huge family, between her and her husband, and it's beautiful. And but you know what? The chance of people having a blended family these days is really, really high. So what do? Is there somebody who's a couple of years down the road, 3 years, 5 years down the road from where you're starting? And wouldn't you love to have someone who's already walked it out? So that's another way that you can go about it is through experience. Another thing is problems. And I say problems specifically because I would say this: every niche has to be connected to a problem. It's the only way that why does it need to be connected to a problem? And the reason why is that pain's a greater motivator than pleasure. So we want it to be connected to a problem because people are much more motivated to solve a problem than to do something that has been their dream their entire life. So that's why we want to connect it there. But problems in specifically, what problems bring you to life? What are the kinds of things that you like helping people solve? What are you excited about? When you hear a certain kind of problem, what's the thing that energizes you when you hear it? So it might be a problem that you've solved in your own life, but it might have been a problem that you solved in the past. We had a coach who was a career coach, and she became a career coach after she saw all of the difficulties and struggles that were happening in HR. People not in their sweet spot, people not loving their job, not figuring out what their skills are, and all of this other kinds of things. So she took what she saw was a problem in there and ended up building a coaching practice around that niche. So problems is a place that you can look. Another one is passion for you. What are you passionate about? There's a who that you're passionate about, because you will do your best work with the people that you're most passionate about. But what kinds of information, what kinds of problems, what kinds of things out in the world that you're just like, no one has to tell me to do this. I just come to life when I talk about this particular topic, when I talk about this subject, when I do this kind of thing, I'm just completely and utterly passionate about it. And I would say that for anything that you're doing, all of these actually overlap as you're hearing them. They do all overlap. At the end of the day, you should be passionate about whatever niche you choose. 5 is this. Let me see if I can grab it. 5 is this, is knowledge. What are the things that you just know about? And some of you geek out on certain kinds of things out there in the world. And there's a couple of people that, as I can remember over the last like three to 6 months, that we were just kind of talking about stuff, and I'm like, how does this person know all this information about this particular topic? Like, I don't know anything about this. And so my daughter is one of those people who has a couple of those geek out kinds of things that she just consumes all of this information and everything else. And I'm like, wow, you're actually quite knowledgeable. Oh, I didn't even know that. You're quite knowledgeable about this. I had no clue. Well, I learned something new today. And I've said that a lot with her over the last 3 to 6 months about particular kinds of things. When you know about a lot of different things, and again, coaching's not about advising people, so to speak, but when you know about a particular topic that you're really excited, that you're passionate about and everything else, and you pull it all together with these things, it's very easy to see how you can pull a niche together, and one that can really benefit you financially, and you can help a ton of people in as well. So I think I answered that one fairly sufficiently. So if you've got any questions, also let me know that you're here. Tell us where you're joining us from, what you're excited about. Do me a huge favor and like this post and share it, because it tells Facebook and YouTube that we're doing a good job. Let me say hello to a few more people. There's William. There is Joan in Bakersfield. Hopefully you're not floating away over there in Bakersfield. I know we're floating away over here. Sandy in New Jersey. And there's Tara from Vegas. And Josie from LA. J.A.P. Penn from Florida. Pajan from Minneapolis. Very cool. Do me a huge favor. If you've got any questions for me, anything on the coaching skill side or on the business side of coaching, I want to be able to answer those for you. And while I'm waiting on that next question, let me just pay the bills like super, super quickly. And then I'm going to come back to that, and we'll finish up really strong. For those of you who have not gotten trained and certified as a coach, the best thing that we could really offer you, and in the way that I would say as a path forward to go, is to join our Jumpstart program. Jumpstart includes a lot of different things. It does not just simply include life coach certification. And of course, we do include that. And when you join Jumpstart, there's actually 2 different life coach certification tracks that you can access as being a part of the program. But let me just try to unpack everything that's involved in Jumpstart. And for those of you who have researched coaching out there and different programs, you're going to see, for everything that you're getting, extraordinary value, because no one packs all of these different things together in a package at a price point that's actually affordable for people. The Life Coach Certification course is fully on demand, and it's self-paced. It's 7 core modules that we walk you through. But over the last couple of months, we actually started making available for everyone Tuesday night live training. And we walk you through each one of these sessions that you also have access on demand. Foundations of Coaching, the anatomy of a dynamic coaching session, how to help your clients get extraordinary results, how to listen on a transformational level, how to ask powerful questions, how to establish a growing coaching practice. We conclude every one of these sessions with live Q&As, and in a couple of weeks out of the month, we actually do live coaching demos so that you can actually experience what it feels like to be a coach, or you can actually experience what it feels like to be a client when we have those role play sessions. And we do them live, because everything that's on here is actually in Zoom. And we also give you instant feedback on that so that you can learn. It's an extraordinary environment, great, amazing environment with other like-minded people and coaches. Because one thing that I will say is that if you want to succeed as a coach, I'm going to encourage you, find other coaches that you do life with, because you really need to find people who have the same purpose and passion, and they're after the same kinds of things. And one of the things that's really true in our industry is that coaches generally are not competitive, because there's only one you, there's only one me, there's only one of each of you who are on here. And so it's not apples to apples, it's apples to oranges for all of us. And there's plenty of people out there who are looking for coaches. So Tuesday night training is available for you as soon as you enroll in Jumpstart. You'll have this accessible inside of your student dashboard. And of course, the life coach certification course is also on demand. You'll also get enrolled immediately into our live coaching bootcamp. The next one is January 20th through the 22nd. We bring you through all of those 7 sessions over a live weekend. It is jam-packed. That's for the people who are like, hey, you know what? I just want to do a deep dive and I want to knock this out in a single weekend. Well, we can crush it together in a single weekend. And so we go through all of the sessions. Starts on a Friday night, ends on a Sunday night. You can knock all of your training out in a single weekend, and then you just need to submit your assignments and take the exam, and then you're done. Boot camp is normally by itself $247. You actually save a lot of money by just joining Jumpstart. It's $97 a month with a 3-month minimum commitment, but that's not all you get. I told you that we really are intense and really passionate about business. One of the courses that you get access to immediately is BrainCamp. It's 13 hours of training, and we give you a step-by-step on how to develop your marketing messaging. We show you how to develop your website. We give you a website wireframe. We show you how to optimize your website for search engines. We go through every piece. We show you what you actually put on your website, how you actually write copy for your website, how to write an email. What we want to show you how to do is how to create funnels on your website. Also, how do you write call to actions that actually get people to respond when they're actually on your website or looking at your emails? All of these things. It's 13 hours of training. It's accessible immediately when you enroll in Jumpstart. We also have the coaching product launch blueprint. Now, some of you are like, I have no clue of where I would even begin. Well, you know what? We bring you through brainstorming to launch over the course of those 8 sessions. We give you tools for each one of those 8 sessions that literally take the guesswork. We bring you through brainstorming, thinking through. We've talked about those 5 areas of choosing your niche. We get you to think through. I ask you really pointed questions to get you to look back, because there's probably things that you've learned. There's probably learnings. There's probably different things that you've experienced. There's things that you're passionate about, skills. There's all of this stuff that you probably haven't even thought about accessing that could probably help you develop not only your niche and your coaching practice, but probably a coaching product around it. What the intention behind the coaching product launch blueprint is that we want to help you create passive income for your business. We need to create a way for you to maximize your ability to help as many people as you can, while at the same time not making you work 40 hours a week in order to do it. And so we cover everything in this: funnels. We give you the 14-day product launch sequence, how to do a pre-launch, how to do a pre-launch party. Everything is actually covered in that. Jumpstart includes all of these things in the Jumpstart program, which I haven't even told you about exactly what is in that course. But really, we give you about 30 videos. That is the structure, step by step. How do you discover your target market? How do you discover your niche? How do you develop your branding? How do you do a 1-minute pitch? How do you sell? We show you the sales cycle. How do you nurture a relationship with people who aren't your clients yet? What does an email strategy look like? I mean, we literally cover everything. We also give you a tool called the Explosive First Coaching Session that really makes it a no-brainer. When you work with somebody, if it's a discovery or a complimentary session, and you give that to someone, they walk away with knowing that you can actually help them solve the problem and get results that they want. Jumpstart, again, is $97 a month with a 3-month minimum commitment. It is an absolute steal for everything that you're getting in it, and nobody has anything close to it on the market. I know, because I was one of those who went in debt years ago. I know how much this stuff costs. I went thousands of dollars in debt, almost 20 years ago, and it hasn't gotten any cheaper. But no one is offering all of these things, while at the same time walks alongside you, at least available to you, that will take you by the hand. Tuesday night training is live. We also have a Wednesday group coaching call, so anybody who's in Jumpstart gets to access that group call. We answer any of the questions that you have. We also give people feedback on what they're working on. So you're not working alone. We'll give you feedback on your website, on anything that you're working on inside of your business, any of the struggles, anything that you want us to review. And we do that in a community of extraordinary people who are brilliant. They're geniuses. They're passionate about coaching. They're passionate about helping people, but they're passionate about helping other people as well who are walking alongside them. And just the community itself, those brilliant people are worth way beyond what we're charging for this. So $97 a month with a 3-month minimum commitment. If you click on that link inside of the description of this video, you can get enrolled in like 90 seconds. And you can actually join us for training tomorrow and even our group coaching call on Wednesday. So let me say hello to a few more people. Tamala from Dallas. Awesome. Hey, does anybody else have any questions before we head out? If we don't have any questions and we just did that amazing tonight, then that's fine. But if you have any questions that we can answer for you, I'd love to take the time to be able to answer that for you. Again, if you jump inside of the description of the video, you can enroll. It's one link inside the description. It'll take you like 90 seconds to enroll, and you can get started tonight, which would be amazing. And don't forget, these are the best months of the year, really, to get clients. January, February, March. They're just amazing months to be able to get clients. Thank you, Rock. I appreciate that. Rock's been doing everything in this training. Anybody else like to say hello? Rock says, your coaching program has made a positive impact on my life. Cheers. Thank you, Rock. All right. Well, I'm about 30 seconds ahead of you. If you have any other questions, throw them in now. If we do not get any questions, then we will head out for the day. So get them in. Going once. Going twice. All right. Well, cool. Well, listen, I appreciate you guys all immensely. I'm going to highly encourage you. Click that link and get enrolled. Also, we're just like a message away inside Facebook or an email or a text. If you go on our website, you'll see a little text number on there. So our team can support you and answer any questions that you can have and help you get enrolled and get rolling. Listen, I appreciate you guys all immensely. Have a great rest of your week and take care.